Everybody, today I thought it would be helpful to present a brief overview of informal visits in healthcare. I'm often asked about them as a recruitment lead. Whatever type of role you're preparing for, whether it's nursing, medical or allied health professional, an informal visit will help you prepare for your interview questions, and it enables you to gain insights about the area and the role that you're applying for. But an informal visit is also useful to help you decide which area to apply for. And if it's your first post as a newly registered professional, you can book several informal visits, for example, to help you decide which one you want to apply for. So I'm going to discuss what an informal visit is, how to secure an informal visit, how to prepare beforehand, the benefits of an informal visit, and what you can learn and look out for during your visit. And I'll also present some helpful questions that you can ask during your visit. So I hope you find the video helpful. So what is an informal visit? An informal visit is a pre-interview visit where you have the opportunity to talk to the recruiting manager and ask questions about the role and the service. You are usually offered a walk round and a tour of the service, and you'll have the opportunity to see the clinical work environment, talk to members of the team and ask questions. And those questions could relate to a role that you're applying for, or questions to decide whether to apply for this area or not. It is not an interview, but you do want to come across as professional, motivated, interested in this area, and you want to look clean and smart. So how do you book an informal visit? You usually contact the recruiting manager by email or telephone, and often on job adverts you'll see the contact details on the advert. Book as early as possible, i.e. when the advert is first released, because managers are very busy. I would say don't wait until you're shortlisted to try and book an informal visit. You can always cancel it if you weren't shortlisted. So book as early as possible, and if you can't secure a face-to-face informal visit because managers can be very busy or there could be sickness, you can potentially request a virtual meeting or a phone call instead, or email some questions if easier. So I've written some example sentences here that might help you structure an email. So an example: I'm a final year ex-student, it could be a nurse, medical student, etc., who is keen to apply for a role in your specialist area. My interest in whatever specialist care has grown following a 12-week student placement. I particularly enjoyed caring for individuals with acute care needs and developing core skills relating to whatever it is. You can give a bit of detail there. Another example for somebody looking for applying pre-interview: I would like to inquire about the possibility of an informal visit in X area to learn more about this service. I have a passion for X, or it could be an interest in this area, or you wish to pursue a career in this area, and I plan to apply for the X role, whichever is being offered, that is currently being advertised. Please could you advise whether this could be arranged? Another example: following the recent X vacant position, I wondered whether there would be an opportunity for an informal visit in X area. It would be great to meet the team and gain some insights into the role and service offered prior to my interview. So I hope some of those sort of sentences might help you if you're looking at trying to secure your informal visit. So what are the benefits of an informal visit? Firstly, to demonstrate your motivation and enthusiasm to work in this role and area. So you've gone to the trouble to find out about the role and service in your own time. It's also very helpful to decide whether this workplace environment is right for you. A large part of your day is spent at work, so you need to be happy, you need to be able to get on with the team, and you also need to really understand what are you applying for. How does this service work? How does this role function? Which leads me to the next benefit, which is the main reason for an informal visit, is to really increase your insights about the role and service. So it's going to either confirm your expectations of what you expected, or it will change them, and you're going to see the reality of how that workplace. You may add an informal visit to your application and personal statement. So when you apply, you can state that you attended an informal visit and what you learnt from that informal visit. You might also bring in the informal visit as part of an interview question that if you've got an interview question on team working, for example, you could state that during your informal visit you ask questions about the structure of the team and or a handover system, or the recent audits that have been conducted in an area. So it can be also helpful to build those interview answers answers when you're questioned at interview. Preparing for an informal visit, it's important that you do some research about the specialist area and service. Although it's not part of an interview, an informal visit, when you attend, you're often asked, why have you applied for this role or service? And they're going to want to see that you've researched the area a bit, that you've shown an interest for this field. If you've asked for an informal visit to decide where you're going to work, you may say that you're thinking of 2 areas, so you can be honest. Also, it's helpful to review the employer intranet so you can have some insights about them as an employer. If you're applying for a specific role, always familiarise yourself with the job description and person specification as well. This is particularly helpful to guide any areas that you're unsure of, and it will help inform some of your questions during the informal visit. So if you've got audits in the job description, you might say that I've read the job description and I see that part of the role is to conduct audits. What sort of audits do you do here? What are your main priorities, etc.? So what are some key areas to look out for during an informal visit? Firstly, the most important thing I would say to look out for is how the team works. How are they communicating and relating to each other? Are they respectful? Because you need to think, can I work for this manager in this team and for this service? Are they friendly, supportive and welcoming, for example? Also, it's helpful to ask about team working and structure. So how is the team structured and workload delegated and handed over? It could be caseloads if it's in the community. What are the staffing ratios across teams? So how many support workers to registered nurses will I be working with? Are there team leaders in the team? Also, key areas you can look out for are linked to the actual way the service has been set up and configured. What is this service actually providing? What are the key service priorities? How does the service link to other specialist areas that could include local internal services or national external services? So is it, because you could be going for an informal visit on a ward, a clinic, it could be a community. So what does this service provide locally, nationally, and what are the key priorities? And then looking at, is there any current challenges in the role or service? Also, what orientation, induction, clinical supervision is offered, because you need to know what support and development you're going to get in that role. And are there opportunities for further education and development? So looking out for education boards, is there an educating lead for education in the area? There'll also be other areas that pop up relating to specific roles and services, and you might see some innovative ways of working during your informal visit. You might see specialist equipment, for example, or research being carried out, which is, you know, something you can talk to them about as well. So I've presented a few example questions you can use during an informal visit, but also create your own. You might not want to use these, you know, looking at the job description, and you might have your own specific questions relate to that service, which is fine, but there's a few here. So what does a typical shift or day-to-day caseload or clinic looks like? What are the usual shift patterns or rotas? How is the team structured? What are the current service priorities, and are there any current challenges across the service? How are you overcoming those challenges? What orientation and induction is offered in the role? Who will support my future development? Do you offer a preceptorship programme, and what would that entail? Because all newly registered healthcare professionals should have a preceptorship orientation, induction and supernumerary time where they are not in the rota numbers. Are there future career and professional development opportunities available in this role? And then other areas of interest such as research opportunities. You will always learn from your informal visit, and it's very helpful to reflect afterwards and think about, does this service, does this role meet my expectations? Is it what I expected? Are there any new insights that I've gained? Do they work in a different way? Do they have specialist equipment that I've never seen before? How is the team structured? And then also think about what did you enjoy, and that could be included in a personal statement when you apply, for example. You can state that you found out about future career and research opportunities, for example. You like the way the team was set up or the caseloads are structured. Think about the current challenges in the service and the plans to overcome them. Again, this is helpful if you get asked a question about current service priorities and challenges, and it can inform. You still have to do your preparation, obviously, for any interview, but it can help inform those answers. And think about, do I want to work here? Can I work in this service and with this team? Does this role meet my professional career development needs? Especially if you're looking at whether you should apply or not, and you're doing your informal visit to see whether this area is for you, and does it offer you work-life balance, for example. So I hope you found this overview helpful. If you're interested, I've got lots of free videos on my YouTube channel. It's a nursing channel, but there's lots of videos that could help any healthcare professional, such as an overview of key terms for quality improvement and quality assurance, risk management in healthcare, clinical governance, clinical audit, quality improvement, etc. If you are a nurse, there's lots of videos there on how to prepare for interviews across lots of different types of roles. So they're all free, so do check them out if you've got an interview coming up. If you've got any questions, put them in the YouTube comments. If you prefer to ask questions privately, you can DM me on Twitter. And just to be aware, if you're a nurse, I have a book, How to Prepare for Interviews and Develop Your Career. And it has lots of example personal statements and questions on how to prepare for interviews up to band 8. So you might find that useful, or you might be able to get it in the library if you don't want to buy it. So I hope you found this talk helpful, and good luck for any of you that have got interviews. Wishing you all the best with them.